you saw me on Instagram or Facebook a little bit earlier, you would know that we got this show tonight. We're streaming simultaneously on Facebook, on Periscope, and now Twitch, which is nice. But if you're on any of those, make sure you hop on over to our YouTube channel. And even if you're watching this on YouTube, please click the subscribe button. Please do. And then also, if you enjoy this interview today and enjoy the video, please click the like button. I really appreciate that. Also like to mention, check out AmericanHammers.net. It's our website. It's still there. And there's still tons of cool stuff in our shop. So please check it out. Yeah. So my co-host tonight, obviously, is Alex, the brains behind the website. Brains behind a lot of things behind the scenes. Alex from Mississippi. And then our special guest this evening, well, evening for us, morning, I guess, for him, is Cieran from Brisbane, right?
Correct, yeah.
All right. Nice and hot, nice and toasty over there today.
Yeah, we're doing all right here.
So, like we always start this with is, how on earth did you become a hammer?
I was born about 5 minutes away from the ground, and from my back room window, I could see the floodlights. I was that close, about a 2-minute walk to Upton Park Station. But it wasn't a family thing, because my family had immigrated from Ireland just before I was born. So, but you're in that area, everybody supports.
So they're Liverpool supporters.
No,
most everybody from Ireland.
You really got beat up if you supported anyone else, basically. So it's only West Ham, yeah. And that's really how it started. And I started going when I was about 8 or 9. I started going to the games.
What's your first memory going to with the match? Do you remember who they played?
The first memory is Man United.
Yeah.
And I think we drew with them. And I just opened my eyes, and just walking into the ground and seeing that green pitch, I was just like a kid in a sweetie shop, You go, wow. Yeah. And the atmosphere was jumping, absolutely jumping. So it was about 1970, I think, around that time. It was fantastic. Yeah, Upton Park just had its own atmosphere,
Yeah,
it was fabulous.
Well, it looks like our good friend Neil's in the chat room. The chat room's already flowing, nice and lively today. Looks like we got a lot of our good friends in there. We got Mimi, Tony, Neil, Robert, and Foshizi, who I was lucky enough to meet when I went out to London this last January, this most recent January, actually, in February. It was nice. Yeah, so I don't know. Who were some of your favorite players when you first started watching?
Bobby Moore was the first. You just knew he was just quality. But then as you got older, it was Billy Bonds, really. He was everything that West Ham was. Just 100% player, never shirked out of a tackle. Everything about him was a leader. And in the days where leaders were important in a team, he was very important to West Ham. Then when you had Trevor Brook in there, he just, he was world class. And then Devonshire comes in, and there's another world class player. I think all through West Ham's history, it's only now and again you get a bit of world class. Even when we got Pyatt, I think that was a world class player, man.
Yeah.
It's a shame the way it ended. But every now and again you get a cameo, We had Brooklyn and Devonshire, and it was a great time to watch West Ham.
A lot more back then, yeah.
Yeah.
Now with Bobby Moore, I had read some stuff or watched some things that he was a guy that really kind of took, and maybe I'm just assuming this based on what I read, but really kind of took, being an athlete and almost made it like a mainstream, like rock and roll kind of thing. I mean, was that really kind of what happened, in those days that, you had footballers and they did their thing, but, he's hanging out with like Mick Jagger and dudes like that. I mean, is that kind of how it went down?
Yeah, then it was quite regular for them to be seen in the George Best days, with mixing with the celebrities of the day. It was quite normal in pubs,
Yeah.
It was It was quite normal for him to go for a drink with these guys up the West End of London. That's where it all happened. So yeah, it was accepted then, you know.
Yeah, we just had Matt Jarvis on Thursday. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. We had 3 shows yesterday. I'm and plus this whole quarantine thing's got my mind. I lost track of days, but anyway, he was mentioning that you know, even in his time with West Ham, I mean, they'd still. I mean, Allardyce would basically promote them going out together, like basically kind of not so much like the old days, probably not exactly like that, but I mean, he still allowed them to do some bonding times together at the pubs.
Yeah, I think it was quite regular. They'd go to local pubs out in East London and Essex.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes they combine it with there might be a trophy thing to give out, but they'd be staying there for the end of the night on the beer. Well, I think I received a trophy from Frank Lampard Senior many years ago in Canning Town, and then they went to the bar when it's done, and they were on it. You know, or happy to.
Can't imagine that. You know what I mean? I can't imagine them with all the stories that we've heard from especially the 70s and 80s and even 60s. The amount of drinking that they did, that they were able to get up the next day and do a match or get up for training and still perform at a high level. You know,
I don't know how they did it.
I don't either.
I think there's a few stories about Jimmy Greaves when he came to West Ham. He was caught in a few dodgy positions.
I always hear stories of like Mickey Mantle, like just being completely hammered and then going out and hitting like 2 bombs for the Yankees that day. That was the life, man. That's how you rolled.
Yeah, or about the 70s, that Pirates pitcher was Doc Ellis on LSD. He pitched like a no-hitter on drugs.
Must have been that.
But that was the era. That's what I'm saying, like the 70s and the 80s and stuff like that, even the 60s. There's with the amount of testing that gets done these days, it just doesn't happen. I mean, the alcoholics get put out in public, and they don't allow that. They frown upon obviously all that type of stuff. So it's just not the same anymore. But you were talking about players from that era. I mean, playing wise, like the Devonshires and there was a lot of them. There was a lot of the really class talented players, like you were saying, of recent time. Payet is one of the few, really, or DiCanio, obviously. I guess DiCanio, his era was probably the last of we had multiple stars in our team, or multiple, super talented players. Like, because now we have a bunch of good players. The last 10 years, we've had a bunch of good players, but we have had very few stars. And I guess Payet was the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, we had a little bit of it with Tevez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd put him up there. He's in that category, But yeah, it's very rare that you get it, and you really got to appreciate them when you do get them. This is a thing that they're rare. Like Hazard at Chelsea, it's rare. He was fantastic, And when we had Payet, I think Payet stood out. He's up there with Brooklyn and Devonshire. He's up in that class of player.
I know.
I don't know what he's doing now, but
I know. Yeah, he's doing okay. He's doing okay in Marseille, but he's not doing anything extraordinary. He's not winning the Champions League like he wanted to do. But he's still scoring goals. He's still dishing assists. Get some crazy moves. And still. But I wish that we still had him. But I mean, even when we had him at a. I don't know if it was the right point in his career because he was older when we signed him, compared to the other players we were signing. So if you think about it, there's been multiple rumors every single transfer window. Oh, someone will throw in the April Fool's Day joke of, hell, we're linked with Payet again. And everybody's like, no, he's too fat and old, blah, blah, blah. But he's still scoring those nasty goals. And I just can't imagine if all the bullshit didn't go down, right, and he stayed at this club and he'd be that age. Obviously he'd be 30 something now, or whatever it was, 33 or whatever. I don't know what age he is exactly, but he'd be older now. Would he still be the same superstar? I don't know.
No, hard to say now, isn't it?
It is hard to say, because it also has to do with your manager too. I mean, would he have done well under Pellegrini? Would he have saved Bilic's job? I mean, who knows? Real quick, I just want to say thank you again to everybody in the chat room. The chat room has doubled since I mentioned it earlier. We have Duncan in here now, Huey Hammers TV, and which is our good friend Alex from New Zealand. I'm sorry, AJ from New Zealand, and yeah, a whole bunch of people, and they're having a blast. But AJ says, Pius, that player that I miss dearly, but I still feel betrayed by what he did, and I guess that's common sentiment. I mean, I guess that's what everybody feels. If you look on every time he gets linked with our club, if you actually follow Twitter at all, which is where the maniacs are, the pessimists anyway. They would all. I mean, it would be 70% like, no, they don't want him back. They never did. But there's still a good chunk of people that would want him back, that still appreciate what he did, and don't say, don't call him the snake.
Yeah, I'd be with that, Tim, because I just thought it was just a pleasure to watch him.
Yeah,
the pleasure to see them goals and what he could do with the ball. And I think that's when Lanzini was at his best too. I think Pyatt made him look good. He was having a ball, man. And it's a shame we haven't got a player like that now.
Yeah.
Maybe Bowen will come to the party. I don't know.
Well, looks like we got someone from Redding, California here. Dave Cotton. Haven't seen you in here before, Dave. So, yeah, if you ever want to come on the show and get interviewed, just like we're interviewing Cieran here, message us, and I would love to have you on. I love interviewing new people and finding out how they got to West Ham. So, one thing I want to talk about was this particular season. What do you think of Moyes? Really?
He weren't my choice, Tim. I can tell you that. But I don't know. I didn't want him. I think West Ham keep doing this, going a step forward, a step back. Not that Pellegrini was a step forward, but we keep going back to these managers. As soon as we got promoted with Allardyce, I didn't want him. Well, that's enough. You've got us promoted. Get rid of him now. I want to see West Ham go forward. I don't want to see a manager. And it doesn't have to. I think Pellegrini was the wrong choice anyway. I had one foot in retirement. I just didn't agree with Pellegrini. But you could argue with Moyes now. He's probably made the two best signings of the season with Souček and Bowen. So he could be heading in the right direction. I'm happy to give him a go, but he wouldn't have been my choice.
It wasn't my choice either. But how do I put it? Just like you said, he made two brilliant signings. And here's the thing: as soon as Kevin Nolan got brought into the mix, I started to take off of my hate for Moyes. You know what I mean? I started to say, you know what? He's got him in his back room now. He's got him there, in the training pitch, on the sideline. And watching the matches with Kevin Nolan on the sideline, Kevin Nolan he doesn't sit down either. He gets right up in there and talks to the players just as much. And that's what I love to see. So if that's going to be the way it is, I could be okay with that as long as we get results. But unfortunately, there's no football. So
no, it's a typical West Ham thing. And we're just getting on a bit of a roll there, starting to play well, if not getting the results. And then this happens, and you go, here we go. So West Ham,
Yeah, Alex, what were your thoughts on us with Moyes, and what were your thoughts on Moyes, really?
I was always in favor of him.
Really?
I thought, I said it from the beginning. I thought that he's going to implement a system of younger players, and he's not the sexy pick that everybody wants. I think everybody wants a name. He's not the name, but I think he's the right guy at the right time. Sorry.
Could be. It's just his track record is against him. You know what I mean? So he did fantastic at Everton. You know what I mean? He did. He did a great job with that club and that organization. And he implemented what he said, which is great. But then he went to Man U and he was in over his head. And then he went to Sunderland and got them relegated. And then he went over to Spain and did jack shit over there. And then he came to West Ham and he kept us up with a 27% winning percentage. 27% winning percentage is like bottom of the table. You know what I'm saying? So if he had actually had a 27% winning percentage the whole season, wouldn't have been good. So when he came in, I was looking at that saying, damn, man, Bilic had a higher winning percentage. I don't understand how he even kept this up. Why would he just keep Bilic, in that case? But anyway, we needed to change that point. But my point is now, he came in and we friggin' crushed it. We smashed Bournemouth. It was crazy. And then we went and showed, I don't know, our true selves again. We couldn't be consistent. And obviously there's growing pains with a new manager. And obviously for any manager coming in mid-season or at any point, not the beginning of the season, is difficult. But he's got all the talent in the world. We have a talented squad. We do, which has been built over the years. I
think that's the advantage he had at Everton. It was a different time where managers could have a longer leash and build a club. And it was a different age. So as long as he can get results and keep his head above water at this point and start building on what he wants, he'll be okay.
All right. So
I mean, in that Arsenal and the Arsenal Liverpool games, really we should have beat Arsenal and at least a point at Liverpool. I mean, that would have changed the whole perspective, and we played well enough to do it.
We had two goal leads against Brighton, and we ended up drawing 3-3.
Yeah, that one.
I was there. It was crazy. I went to take a piss and came back.
I think that was his great substitution of bringing on Masuaku. I think that cost us in that game.
I think Bowen is going to play out to be an excellent addition.
Looks like everyone's still talking about Payet in the chat room. I was going to look for a question. I mean, someone's comment to pull up, but they're all still on Payet. So I guess that wasn't the smartest thing to bring up. They're all, I see snakes, all this stuff back in there. But so Hammers Polls, I see you in the chat room. We're going to go over Hammers Polls tonight, halfway through. So stay tuned for that one. And Tony Pearson's in the chat room. He's one of the consistent contributors over there at Hammers Polls on Twitter.
Hey, I got a question. How did you get from Ireland to England to Australia? Obviously, transportation. But I'm saying, by boat, a plane? But tell me that story, because obviously that's interesting in and of itself.
Good question.
Yeah, well, I say my family immigrated there in about 1959. So I was born in 61. So there, and then when I done an apprenticeship there, and when I was 16, became a carpenter. And when I was 26, I just decided to emigrate. I just fancied a change, and I came to Brisbane and the Gold Coast. Have been here ever since. Really. I went back for about 3 years in about 91 to about 94. Well, I was there that year that Tevez turned up. So I was there for that.
You're going to be pretty bummed because, they were going to play, or maybe they still do play that tour in Australia. I presume that you were planning on going to watch them. And I saw the eye roll. I hit a nerve. Sorry.
My son is spewing. It's going to be the first time he had a chance to watch West Ham, and he's not happy because obviously it's not going to go on. Well, we had 20 people lined up to go on that night.
Yeah.
Were they going to be in Brisbane? Where were they going to be? What was the?
They're playing in Brisbane. There was on the Saturday Brisbane, and then on the Gold Coast midweek. And then there's one in North Queensland. They were going to Townsville to play the last game there. Yeah, disappointing.
My good friend James Tompkins was going to be there with Crystal Palace as well.
We're supposed to be on that. Get it in, Tim. Get it in.
Drink in the chat room, please. Thank you. Man, that's horrible. So, I'm selfish. Okay. So I was really bummed out when they announced that they were going to Australia, not coming to the US, because, when we started this, they had come here, I guess, back in 2016. All right. And they
were in North Carolina and Seattle, I think.
North Carolina and Seattle. So Seattle, I live in the greater Boston area, so Massachusetts. And then they picked obviously the opposite end of the country to go. And then North Carolina, Just so happened to be like a birthday weekend or something like that, where I had like 2 different birthday parties of like close immediate family. I couldn't go anyway. So anyway, long story short, I missed out. I've seen them in London a bunch of times, like 4 times now, which is great. But yeah, I mean, we've been doing this American Hammers thing, and I'm like, you know what? I hope the club recognizes it. I want to showcase all the supporters groups here, all the different fans here, and I want the club to see, you know what? They need to come here more often, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to Australia. And I'm like, like you couldn't have picked like somewhere closer. But anyway, and then unfortunately, I feel awful because they're not going now, and I hope what they do is they definitely figure out something where they reschedule and go to Brisbane, because listen, you can't get someone's hopes up like that, especially when you're talking that far away. You know, you're planning on doing a trip that far away, or even like last year, say if they were going to China or something like that, and all these people who are like expats that are living over there are planning, you know what, shit, I'm migrated here, my kids are here now, they're going to see them for the first time, wherever it is. And then all of a sudden, shit happens, they cancel. They got to reschedule. They got to. They have to. Yeah, so we got a couple more people in the chat room. We got, I don't even know. We got someone here. And we have Charlie Boy, and Charlie Boy was on last night of our shows. Yeah. What were we talking about? I'm so sorry. I got distracted by the chat.
Australia. They're playing overseas.
Great question about how he chose to go there. So is Brisbane actually like awesome? Like, really, is it really a great place to live, or?
It's a nice, clean city. It's only about 1.2 million in Brisbane itself, but it's a well spread out city. It's a nice city. It's not that exciting, you know, compared say to London or New York, but
compared to like Sydney or something.
Yeah, Sydney is a bit more like London. It's very busy and hectic down there, you know. This was, I'd say 40 years ago, this was a country town sort of thing, and it's built into a city. But you got the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast is half an hour away, you know. Yeah. So you only got a half an hour drive to get to the beaches. And
what club, what soccer club, football club you got there? What's in Brisbane?
It's Brisbane Lions, and they're in the A-League.
Got it.
But when I first came here, I played there on the Gold Coast for Surfers Paradise, Apollo.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And really good standard they were. Better than I ever was. I was only a Sunday morning kickabout player, really. But most of these guys there, they were a lot of semi-pros and ex-pros from Scotland. So I had to up my game a little bit to play it right back. And but it was a good experience. Some great players, you know, really good players.
Now, are there a lot of other West Ham fans in your area? Is it just, are you on an island? No pun intended.
Yeah.
But
I found about 3 or 4 that are still good mates, you know. But there's not a plethora of them here, but there's a few here and there. I think there was a Brisbane Hammers guy once, because when we went to the playoff finals in town, you know, against Palace, we were in there, you know, and he was organising tickets for it and all that back then.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if he's still kicking around or not.
Well, on social media, there's a lot.
There is a lot.
And obviously, and also in our chat room, I mean, from time to time, people will pop in, not just you or not just Neil. I'm just saying, like, there's other people that say, hey, so-and-so from Australia here, just checking in. But also there's supporters groups all over Australia for West Ham.
Yeah.
And the thing that strikes me is that the time difference. I mean, how are you able to get together, or how are they able to get together and watch a match?
Unless you're watching it around someone's house, it's really hard, because normally kick off at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's 1 o'clock my time, so I'll wake the boy up, you know, 12:30 to come on with, and he loves it. He doesn't want to watch the recorded game; he wants to watch it live.
Of course.
So it's usually 1 a.m. for us. And if it's that 4 o'clock kickoff, obviously, then it's 2 a.m. So yeah, it's awkward. And unless you go to someone's house to watch it, you really haven't got anywhere to go.
It's just so, you know, what's so awkward is the fact that we're talking to you in the future, and you're like, it's the sun's out. It's Saturday. It's the sun's shining. It's like tomorrow already. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nearly 10:30 Saturday morning.
Yeah, it's bananas, man. But no, listen, I'm glad to have you on. I mean, it was really cool to see you, popping in the chat room as well from time to time. Because listen, the chat room is our favorite deal here. I mean, the reason why we don't do any pre-recorded shows is because we love interacting with everyone from all over the world, and then trying to convince them to come on.
I've always got that at Tim. Because I'm rubbish at this technology, mate. Too old for this. I've got to get my son to sort everything out. But when I first started watching you, it must have been just after you'd kicked off. For some reason I found you on there. So I'm watching these American Hammers. What are these mad Americans doing supporting West Ham?
Yeah.
So I was watching your show and watching the show. I didn't know how to get onto the chat. So my son done it for me. He came and he sorted it out. And all the guys in there, Fo Sheezy and Tebow and Neil and Rebecca and that, it's been so nice. They didn't know me from Adam. And they were really good, really, really good to talk to. And seemed like a good bunch of guys,
Yes. I missed out on meeting Tebow in person when I went over there recently. But I did get to meet a bunch of people like Charlie Walsh. We've had Ray Borum on the host shows with us. He started off just by watching our shows. I got to meet him. Fo Sheezy, got to meet him. He gave me an amazing West Ham shirt. It was really nice, and I get to meet a lot of people doing this from all over the place, all over the world, and it was really great. Steve Mothersole, another guy who's been on our show and hosted a bunch of our shows. He took me under his wing, and he actually was, my chauffeur per se. Like, he was showing me everywhere, taking me everywhere when I went over there. Can't thank him enough. But I'm telling you, I met some of the best people on this planet, by doing this, and this is cool that. I can't picture doing that with Man United fans or Chelsea fans or Liverpool fans. You know what I mean? Like the West Ham groups are amazing. I've visited England Wayne over here in the chat room. I've met him in person. I visited the Dallas Hammers. I visited the Tampa Hammers, Philadelphia Hammers, which has John Nolan, who was in the chat room and also on last night, and the DC Irons, dude. I met some of the coolest people on this planet, man, and I can't thank everybody enough for that. So I almost met Hammers Poles too. He says we were close. But yeah, it's awesome. Look, Jesse here in the chat room from over on Facebook. He has a question. So it's actually a good question. I was going to get to this later, but I might as well get to this now. So Cieran, are there going to be 22 teams in the Premier League? So all relegation. Will it be up? Wait a minute. Will it be up? Will it be 4 teams in the Premier? So basically, what he's asking in a nutshell, I know what he's saying, because he talks to text. I know he does personally. So, do you think that they're just going to say, you know what, we're going to be adding Leeds and West Brom next season, and say not relegate anybody?
That's something I thought about right at the beginning of all this. And I was looking at, because to me, this is going to be null and void this season, right? So, what's the scenarios? Do we just null and void it and no one moves anywhere, no one wins nothing? Or do we just bring them 2 teams up and have an extra 2 teams for a year and then maybe relegate, 5 teams next year? I think it's a scenario, but the likes of Brentford and Fulham are just not going to be happy. Yeah. If we relegate anybody, it can't. Villa will be going off there at 6, won't they? They've got a game in hand. You can't really relegate anyone in this. You can't. So if they wanted to bring 2 teams down.
Yeah. What I want to find out is who's their game in hand. Because if it's Liverpool, likely they're getting relegated. So scrap it. See you later. Bye. But
I think most Villa fans want it scrapped because they don't believe they can survive anyway.
Oh, probably.
Game in hand or not.
Well, what I think is going to happen is I think that they're going to find a way to finish it. I think they are. They're going to. I mean, it's not the best thing to do because I can't stand behind closed doors anything. I don't want football with no fans. It just makes no sense. I don't think the players want that either. But at the same time, the clubs do. The clubs want the games finished just so that we can at least have something to say. That said, the reason why I'm saying that is because, look, you look at California. you look at even New York, or even a lot of parts in our country right now, in our country anyway. I don't know what the scenario is over in England or anywhere else in the world, because I'm not paying attention. I'm only paying attention to America right now when it comes down to this COVID crap. And we've already hit our peak and we're on our way down. And I mean, the peaks were lower than others. Like New York City was just through the roof, Washington through the roof. And then you have other states that didn't go so high because they followed instructions. They stayed the hell home. They didn't, they did what they were told to do, wore their mask, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short is I think this stuff's going to end sooner than later. And I think that we will have time to squeeze in 9 matches. All right. So just because I'm, not because I'm optimistic, just because I want this shit to end. All right. And I want this shit to end, and I want us to find a cure or something like that. I just want it to end. Anyway, long story short, I'm actually, Wayne, we have hit our peak, brother. You got to just pay attention to what not what the government says. You got to pay attention to what the stats say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, stop watching CNN and all that crap. But anyway, so long story short, I think that they're going to find a way to get those 9 matches behind closed doors, which is going to suck. And I don't know, but I mean, because like you said, the amount of lawsuits. I mean, sure, they're going to save money from not breaching their contracts with the big bucks, the corporation, the Premier League, etc. But they're going to get sued by Brentford. They're going to get sued by these other clubs if they only take 2 teams up. You know what I'm saying? Fulham. You know what I mean? Fulham had an opportunity. Scotty Parker over there in Fulham, they had an opportunity to win the playoffs as well. So Nottingham Forest, another club that they got some money, but they'll sue too. I mean, they're gonna have lots of lawsuits in their hands, man. So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I said this a couple of weeks ago. I think that you promote those 2 teams, and then you have that playoff in the championship. Can you imagine the TV revenue and just the viewership for a game that could depend on going up like that when there's no other football? That would be huge. That'd be incredibly huge. And actually, I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about some of the Premier League teams trying to support some of the smaller teams, because if they don't, in some way financially, try to help out some of these smaller teams, they're not going to have a system at all.
I think there's every chance now that we could lose a division.
Yeah,
every chance. If something's not done for these smaller clubs, I can see at least 10 to 20 teams going bust. So we could actually lose a whole division. It's scary.
Yeah, no, it's going to just completely change the way everybody's thought. And I'm just kind of pulling this one out of my ass. Is there's always those talks about having like another division, like a super premier division, and maybe that's what ends up happening. I mean, I know it's kind of crazy. I just went that out of nowhere, but they're going to find a way to generate more revenue because they've got to. And if it is bringing up more teams for TV, I mean, that's what drives everything here is the TV revenue. If they can find a way to do it and avoid all these contracts and lawsuits and stuff, they'll do it. There's a lot more positives to be made out of it than there are negative.
So let's take a positive spin on this and change the subject, because it is kind of depressing, and the chat room is starting to get a little political, which I think I might have started that, but I'll blame Wayne. Anyway, let's do some hammers polls. How about that? So basically, today we should have been playing Newcastle at St. James Park. So, Cieran, what do you think the result would have been? West Ham win, Newcastle win, or a draw?
I think in the form we had coming in, I fancy a win. I would have expected us to go there and win. If we kept the same formation as we did last game against Liverpool or Arsenal, I think we'd go there and beat them. They're not that good at all. I think they're terrible, Newcastle. They're lucky to be where they are for me.
That's true. I think so. I listen. I thought, I thought they'd be like fighting for their lives. I think they were one of the few teams that I picked to like. So basically, I asked all of our supporters, all of our viewers, to submit, their preseason predictions, their table predictions, right? And I think I had Newcastle like right above the. I had them like 17th I think it was. I had Brighton at the bottom, and I did have Norwich in there too, and so on. I think Bournemouth, because I hate Bournemouth. I think they're a tiny little club, and I don't want them in the Premier League. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, I think you're right. West Ham would definitely win. I think they would have had the momentum, and you know what? We would have played Chelsea, right? We would have had Chelsea
before
on the 4th.
I think
so.
On
the 4th. Yeah, I think we would have beat them too. I think we would have had that momentum. I really do. You're right. So, Alex, what do you think?
I think West Ham would have won. I'm an Atlanta United MLS fan, so I think Almiron would have got a goal for Newcastle, and we still would have won.
All right.
Yeah, what person is going to say West Ham loses? Come on. Oh shit!
Honestly, a lot, Alex.
You negative bastards.
Listen, what do I always say? Twitter.
My God.
Capital of negativity, which is why, I mean, Hammers Polls does so well, because negative Nancy's love polls. And
my God.
You know what I'm saying? So, wow. I didn't listen. 579 votes for one of their polls that's pretty damn good. I mean, they usually
You know what? These chicken shits right here, nobody made a comment on it. They just voted and went on.
You're right.
Nope. Nobody made a comment. Usually we'll click on the comments and they're actually just as funny as that. You chicken shit bastards.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. But hey, the people in our chat room say win. So apparently they're not following Hammers Polls on Twitter. And maybe they should and click on it sometime. Anyway, let's see what's next here. I think these are all Newcastle related, by the way. Okay, so who was the best center forward of these four to represent both West Ham and Newcastle? Demba Ba, Les Ferdinand, Andy Carroll, or Craig Bellamy? Now we'll start with Cieran again.
Ooh. I like Craig Bellamy. I really did. I just like pace. I like pace in a player. I think that's something West Ham have been lacking lately, enough pace in the team. So I think if I push there, I think Craig Bellamy for me.
Right on. Alex?
I go Bellamy as well.
Yeah. It's between Bellamy and Ba for me, because Ba only played a short period of time for us, like half a season. He played for us in that relegated season in 2010-11, which is when I first started watching the club, and he banged like 7 goals in 10 games. Which was crazy, but obviously not enough to keep us up. Now, that said,
everybody's going to vote Andy Carroll.
Well, he ended up going. So basically, he went to Newcastle afterward and doing okay there, and then he went to China for like friggin' 6 figures a week. Yeah. So anyway, I would lean on Bellamy, because Bellamy overall, his career, yeah. But I guarantee you guys, all right, I guarantee you, the winner of this poll is going to be Andy Carroll, because. Another thing I learned about Hammers Polls, not just Hammers Polls. I don't mean no offense to Hammers Polls in this one. I mean Twitter. People on Twitter, it's Johnny come lately, right? With all these polls, it's always Johnny come lately. Whoever's fresh in their mind. A lot of newer fans, I'm assuming too, vote on these. So my bet would be that they picked Andy Carroll, but I'll say Craig Bellamy. And Andy Carroll was last. Holy shit, I'm wrong. Les Ferdinand. Wow.
What are the comments? What are the comments?
The comments are, I don't know. We'll see. That's the wrong one. I don't want to comment. Didn't you do this before?
Yeah, I made the same mistake. I can't remember what it is.
Okay, so I don't usually do this, but since you're on, I'll do it. What about Pop Robson? Oh yeah, Brian Pop Robson. Okay, well, you get 2 votes for him.
2 write-in ballots.
All right. I don't really know much about Pop Robson, because I've only been following the club since, like I said, the 2010-2011 season. So
he was a great little striker, Tim. He really was good at West Ham.
Now this one's going to be fighting words here. So, who is the better captain to represent both West Ham and Newcastle? Cieran, Nolan or Parker?
I'd go for Scotty, just because I thought he was brilliant. So I'd say Scott Parker for me.
I'm gonna go Nolan.
Even though Kevin Nolan done a great job as captain, a great job.
Yeah. Yeah, you say Nolan and you
Nolan.
say Parker. I say Nolan only for the fact that again. So for me and Alex here, we haven't been following the club as long as you. So I don't. I mean, I know I only got like a half a season out of him in my viewing. You know what I mean? I've heard lots of great things about him, and if Lee was on this show, he'd say Scott Parker. There's no question about it. But and pretty much everybody else, I guarantee you, John Nolan, who's in the chat room right now, would say Nolan. I'm getting
could be an age group poll then, is it?
Well, a lot of them in the chat room are saying Nolan as well. So I mean, no, I will do. I will do. I will definitely do that. Well, I'll say Nolan just because it's 2 versus 1 here, but yeah, 74%. And again, I think that also has to do with the fact that Kevin Nolan didn't leave us for Tottenham. I think that has a huge effect on that. People are very bitter on Twitter and hold grudges. So I just, any chance I can, I talk shit about people on Twitter. But anyway, all right. So whoever votes Nolan over Parker, I don't honestly give up. All right. Question is about who is a better captain. Absolute no-brainer. Nolan. Still a magic player for Young to follow and inspiration instead of Judah Parker. See, Judah Parker. That's what I'm talking about. That's Russian Hammer, a good friend.
Oh yeah.
Reply on there. Let's see what that is. Oh shit! All right. Forgetting the halftime team talk against West Bromwich Albion, staying when he could have left, but stayed to try to keep us up for 2 or 3 seasons. Even played a few games for us in Championship. Yeah, I played a few games for us in Championship because we were having the toughest fucking time trying to sell him. So that's that. Forever Bowen. I don't even know who you are. He won Hammer of the Year 3 times. Was practically player manager, and the other one did chicken dance, which. I mean, come on. What are you saying? I do wonder sometimes. Parker was absolutely class. No one only looked class in Championship. That's not true. So basically, no one only had 1 season in Championship with us and still scored over 50 goals total. And I don't believe he had double digits in that Championship season. So that means he scored a shitload of goals for us in the Premier League. And also, was a part of a really, if you look at that roster that we had our first year back up, which is 12-13, there's no way we should have finished 10th place with that fucking roster. So I think he had a lot to do with that. So anyway, Shane Parker went, you had no class ever now. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. So, all right. That's that one. The last one, I think they wanted me to ask the Ian Bishop question. I don't know if I can find that one, but before we get to that, oh no, this is it. Okay, cool. So this is from Ian Bishop. This is his question. Playing alongside such prolific strikers was an absolute joy for a midfield player. So who, in your opinion, was the most complete striker of these 4? Clive Allen, Trevor Morley, Frank McAvenny, or Tony Cotty? And I will leave this question for just Cieran, since I guess you, Alex and I have.
Mate, I was lucky enough to go home and away that year that Cotty and McAvenny got together, and what a joy that was! What a joy! And it can only be McAvenny for me. He was just a breath of fresh air. And got Tony Cotty, both of them just teamed up so well. They were fantastic. And I think most people probably pick Tony Cotty. But I just love watching McAvenny.
All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, listen, we've had people on here, so not to throw in a spoiler, but one of our our questions at the end, our rapid fire questions, is like who's your favorite Hammer, I guess, of all time or whatever, and McAvenny always comes up. No, I'm sorry. Who epitomizes West Ham? I think that's the question. That's what it is to you in your mind, and then McAvenny comes up quite a bit, and Cotty, not as much, but anyway, let's see what the people think. Close.
Yeah.
Close. Out of 425 votes, 44% Cotty, 32% McAvenny, and double 11s for the other 2. So, Jesus Christ, I'm going to kill the chat room in a second. God. So last night, apparently, there was a discussion in the chat room. And our good friend Wally decided to tell people that I have a James Tompkins tramp stamp. So now, yeah. Well, no, and I'm not going to show you my downy fluff and my my lower back, but I guarantee you, there is no tramp stamp. Okay, I do have a few cool tattoos, but yeah, cheers, Hammers Pulse. But like I got forever blowing bubbles with some bubbles. I have the actual Bolin Tower, which you can't really see, and then the old, well, not old, but the first crest that where I started following the club. So yeah, no tramp stamp. Sorry, guys. Anyway, yeah, people are drinking and cheering in there. All right, cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the rapid fire questions. If I can find them. All right, cool.
Stairs behind the bar. Then we're going to plug it in, bring that lead up.
Naked guy.
All right, so first question, as always. Before we actually start, I just got to give a good fuck you to Kevin Borba. So, Kevin, I love you, but fuck Chelsea. All right, it's just a good friend of mine from Facebook who he's a Chelsea supporter. Always comes in from time to time and gives me shit. All right, so meat pie or apple pie?
Meat pie for me. Steak and kidney.
Steak and kidney. Okay, cool. This hat's too tight, man. All right. Who's your favorite current West Ham player?
Oof.
Tough.
Yeah, I think it's hard to anyone standing out. Really, I'd probably go for Rice.
There you go.
But I'd like to say Allaire because I just think he's going to do it next year. But I think it's probably Rice. Yeah.
If Allaire gets a training camp or a lot of training sessions with Bowen, who could be like Jovic, you know what I mean? Like the same type of setup that he had over there in Frankfurt. I mean, Bowen reminds me a lot of a Jovic. I think that they would definitely. I think they do well. Charlie Boy says, "Rep boy, Kevin, good man. Thank you." All right. What frustrates you? I'm sorry, not what. Who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad?
Oh, this season, Anderson. Anderson has been the most frustrating player. I mean, when you see what he can do, and he's just not. And I don't know whether we should stop playing him on the left and bring him into the middle. We might see the best of him there. I don't know. But he's been the most frustrating player this year.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
I did see a story the other day that take it for what it's worth, but I think it was Inter Milan or someone inquiring about Anderson.
Napoli.
All right.
I'm like, sold.
Yeah, Napoli wants him.
Napoli, that's what.
Well, I don't know how true it is because they wanted. It says in the article that they want to switch. They want to buy him, but also give us a player, and I don't buy it. I don't know. I mean, listen. What happens is, I hope it's true. I hope that someone in Italy takes him, but this is like the lazy journalism of where did he come from? He came from Lazio, right? I think it was Lazio, something like that.
It was.
Yeah, so
it was
Italy. So people are saying, okay, he did well in Italy. Let's make up a club that it's the Tim syndrome, like the other night when I made those bullshit transfer rumors up. Anyway, yeah, Anderson definitely. Poor guy, man. It's one of those things where he just looks like he just doesn't care. Same thing with Lanzini. They got that face every single time. Every single day that they're out there. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was something like that. Definitely.
I'd take that.
Yeah, all right. So what about no, wait, hold on. FA Cup. Would you rather have an FA Cup or a top 4 finish?
No, an FA Cup. I was lucky enough to be the one in 1980 And I was also at that semi-final replay at Ellen Road.
Really?
And yeah, the Ellen, the people keep asking me, what's your favourite game? And, you know, the normal answer is the FA Cup. But that semi-final replay at Ellen Road was the most emotional game I've ever been to. It was amazing, just amazing. And when old Frank Lampard Senior popped up with his header and run over to that where that corner flag is, where we were all standing. Wow, first time I've ever cried at a game. I think, you know, it was so emotional with the final whistle. You know, so
that's an amazing experience. Wow, I'm glad you get to experience it.
Would I like to experience the FA Cup win again? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
What about West Ham do you love?
Just the supporters, the fans. They're fantastic. You know, and I even relate that to you guys there in America. Why would you support West Ham? It tells me you're either a little bit mental, right? And which means you fit in. You're definitely not glory hunting fans. That's why, you know, I really respect fans from around the world that don't pick Man United and Liverpool and Tottenham. You know, I think it's fantastic. So
when I was,
it's the fans. It's the fans that make West Ham.
That's the number one answer. I mean, in one way, shape, or form, that's the number one answer from everybody that we've ever asked this. We've asked over 100 times, and that's it. When my father was, when I was 6 years old, my father said, "You know what? Hey, you can support a team, any sport. You know what I'm saying?" He's like, "Just pick a team that you are going to follow for the rest of your life, and don't worry about if it's the home team or not. Like, you don't have to pick the, you know, so I live in Boston. You don't have to pick the Red Sox or the Patriots or whatever. Just pick a team." Look at the teams. Look at the, you know, the history, the city, the everything. Just which one calls to you, pick them. So I picked the Montreal Expos, losers. Picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were the worst team in the National Football League for many years, and so on. And I think the other one was like San Diego Padres. But anyway, long story short, I don't follow those sports anymore at all. I follow West Ham. But the same deal. Where like I didn't care about what the results were. It's just the crossed hammers, the colors, the history, every West Ham supporter I had interaction with, that's what called. I mean, that's what, you know, drew me to West Ham. So it's not really brand. You know,
you were on a flow. It wasn't a rant. Doesn't have to be negative. It could be you were just on a roll, man. You were just, giving it, man.
Yeah.
My son got the option of it: support West Ham or fucking leave.
Well, but that's what I love about West Ham. That's the thing. That's one of the things I love about it, because everyone I meet who, you know, has family ties to it anyway. It's their kids have to follow West Ham. Like, I will not allow like my son to wear anything other than, you know, I will not allow him to follow any other club. He can follow other sports if he wants, but if he's following soccer, he has to wear West Ham stuff. That's it, and he has to follow West Ham, and just that's it. But that's everybody else I've spoken to says the same thing. All right, so what about West Ham do you hate?
The fans.
That's come up a few times. The same answer.
What do you hate? The inconsistency is probably the most thing. I don't think in all my lifetime watching West Ham, which, you know, I've been watching them for 50 years, they've always been inconsistent. Nearly always. You know, it's never been a season where there's been a couple of good seasons, but the inconsistency always comes back. We, you know, go and beat Liverpool one week and then lose to fucking Oxford the next. We've always done that. It seems to be a way about us, and that's what I hate. I would just love to have a consistent run, and I think that year where Cotty and McAvenny was probably the closest I've seen where we were on a great run, and were fairly consistent through the season. It's very rare. So I just wish they would be more consistent as we go on. You know? I think West Ham supporters are very easy to please, Tim. You know, if you're out there giving it 100% and, you know, trying to play football and trying to win games and putting it all in, West Ham fans are happy. We don't need to win Champions League. We don't need to win the league. We just want to see a decent effort on the pitch.
Put in a shift.
It just doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in a while. We don't get that shift. I mean, maybe a player or two. That's why we fall in love with these particular players. Like, the Snodgrasses and the Fabianskis and so on, and the Antonios when he's healthy or fit, because they put in a shift, right? But then the whole team doesn't, though, and that's what sucks, and that's frustrating.
That's why I think why Billy Bonds is held in such high regard, because there's no player on that team would not put a shift in with him as captain. You would not want him on your place. So.
Yeah, Robbie has a great point here too. Look at Bowen. He came and put in a shift, and now he's a fan favorite. Exactly. Same with Suchek. Suchek. I saw him firsthand. I got to see him in his debut, and he put in the shift. He did.
Yeah.
He was around like he was trying to impress in the first day, and he knew. He knew that that's what the fans wanted. You know. Yeah. All right. Next question is. This is kind of a off the topic one, but. What sound makes you happy? Could be anything.
It's got to. I think that when it hits the net, that sound when that ball hits that net, there's nothing better. You're not sure if it's flying in, then when you hear that net sound, you go, "Wow, what that do me?" And you just go crazy, don't you? It's a great sound.
Did you pull up the other one? I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, go ahead. Pull up the one you were doing.
No, I was just kind of going down the line.
Go for it. What's your favorite curse word?
Ooh, I don't think I'm allowed to say it to him.
Oh, believe me, people have said it.
This is uncensored.
Oh, shit, cunt.
There you go. Yeah, love it.
I didn't think the C word,
and you added the second most popular answer and put it together.
Yeah, well, after a while, the C word, it's lost its effect. So I thought I'd put that in front of it.
Yeah,
it gets people's attention a bit more.
Well, you know what? That's my new favorite curse word. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Oh, you God. All right. So, what team do you love to beat?
Again, I think it's an era thing. In my day, it was Man United. There was nothing better than beating them fuckers, mate. That was our favourite day of the year. I think lately it's probably more so Tottenham, which is another great day to beat them. But I think in the 70s, 80s, it was Man United. And people love beating them.
The number one answer is Tottenham. And again, it's more recently, I guess, obviously. But I think who's second? Millwall. And then because there's still a lot of people who had on the show that still hold on to that. You know what I mean? Even though we don't play them anymore. Because even if we do get matched up against them again in one way, shape, or form, that rivalry will be right there again. And the third most popular answer is Man United. Now that's what I picked too. And my reason was because there's such a big club across the globe. Like, right, they're one of the top three most recognizable clubs in the world. So when you get to play one of those, because we don't play Real Madrid or Barcelona, when you get to play a Man United, a household name like that, and you beat them, there's nothing better than that, man. Because you're affecting more people. You're making more people sad. So that makes me happy. All right. So name a player, past or present, like I said earlier, name a player, past or present, that epitomizes West Ham in your eyes.
Ooh. It has to be Billy Bonds for me. And I'd say Noble's probably taken over that thing in this day, but it's Billy Bonds. He was just a superstar at West Ham.
Yeah,
just 100% every week, and he got it out of all the old players around him too. So it would definitely have to be Billy Bonds for me.
Bonds is the number one answer. I'm sorry, I keep saying like no one answer like it's a game show, but no, listen, it's the most popular answer. Noble comes up a lot with newer fans, especially, but we've heard Brooking, we've heard DeCanio, we've heard Dix, we've heard Devonshire. For different reasons. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's in your eyes. See, and Kiwi's a younger dude, so probably that's why he would say no. There you go.
No, if I was 25, I'd be saying Noble.
You did say epitomize. You didn't say good or bad. You just said epitomize.
Oh yeah. So he said, Carlos Sanchez. Boy. All right. This is the last question of the evening, and listen, this is my favorite personally. So thanks to England Wayne, who was in the chat room. He's the one that came up with these questions. If you could take a time machine and go back to experience anything to do with West Ham, when and where would you go?
Oh yeah, well,
Whether you were there or
FA
not.
Cup final. I was there, wasn't I? So I would probably go to. I'd like to see that World Cup final. I'd love to see more Peters and Hurst.
Yes.
I was 5 then when I won it, so I'd love to be at that Wembley then. That would have been amazing.
Yep. The 80 Cup final is the most popular. We've also heard, the other Cup finals. The last game at the Bowl Inn is another one that pops up, especially with newer fans, or also people just sentimental and they just want to experience that again. But the World Cup final, it has come up quite a bit. It has, because again, it has to do with West Ham, and West Ham won it. Listen, Reed's last goal up the park. Stop it. I don't want to get in that rant of he cost us the 2 goals to set up his winner. You know what I mean? But anyway, enough of that.
Actually, I've got a bonus question.
Go for it.
What is your jersey, your shirt, and why are you wearing it?
Oh, this was Bobby Moore's memorial game.
Okay.
From 1994.
That's
a
awesome.
friend of mine sent it over.
Is that your go-to shirt?
Memorial game. Huh?
Is that your go-to one? Do you have other ones?
A friend sent it to me after he went to it. I've had it a long time sitting in the cupboard, so I thought I'd put something on for a change, He's got the number 6 on the back and everything, so and more. I'll say he's one of them legends you're not going to get anymore, I don't think.
This is a good one.
I'm not too sure West Ham treated him that well either, to be fair.
No, that's what we're all led to believe, actually, that it wasn't. That's not the case. So Dave Cotton brings up the Cup Winners' Cup champion, I think, or something like that, right? The final against 1860 Munich. That one has come up a lot too, the time machine question. So I did want to mention that. And thanks for watching us on Facebook, by the way. Can you come over to YouTube and click the subscribe button for us? I'd really appreciate that. So we're going to listen. This was a great chat tonight. I really appreciate that, Cieran. Pleasure meeting you face to face. Well, video to video, and anytime, brother. So listen, if we can ever schedule something else like this, where we have one of our forum shows, and you're not doing anything this time of day, we'd love to have you back on with, more of us, not this interview atmosphere, like a topic atmosphere. So you're more than welcome to come back on.
I'd love to, man.
Awesome. And Alex, can't thank you enough, brother, as stepping up last minute and jumping on and co-hosting with me. And I can't thank everybody enough in the chat room. Listen, we're trying to grow our Twitch. So if anybody has Twitch who's watching this, please go over there and try to watch one of our shows live over there, because we need to get a little bit more viewers and followers or whatever, I guess. We're trying to start it out. So just do that. But if you're watching from Twitter on Periscope or Facebook, please hop on over to YouTube and click the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Just click the subscribe button. You don't have to click the notification bell, but if you want to, you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. We've been putting out a lot of videos. We're going to be putting out a lot more videos now that we're on lockdown as well, just so you know. We're working out some new shows. There's going to be a new game show that we're working on too, which we're not going to divulge quite yet, but we're going to hopefully have within the next week or two. So we got Friday Night Lights, which is our staple game show, which is awesome, and we're looking forward to the playoffs, which isn't happening this weekend because of Easter Sunday. So, but it starts again the following weekend. That said,
who's in that next show?
The next show is the Ian Bishop, Alex, and that's you, and Charlie Walsh. Yeah. So next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, you guys.
Yeah, brother, Ian Bishop, you're mine. Like wrestling promos. Oh yeah, Ian, I want you.
I clicked onto AJ's live stream yesterday. He done for the first time. In the Kiwi Hammers.
Yeah, love AJ.
Yeah, and it was good, mate. He put a few of my comments up, so I'll give a shout out to AJ. He's a good lad.
He is a good lad, and we've had him on a few times, and we're going to continue to have him on. He's now starting to really pick up his content, which is great, and he's going to start doing a lot more live stuff, which is really cool. And I guess I'm going to be appearing on his show soon, which is going to be cool. So you get to hear my story, I guess. It'll be kind of neat, which I've already told everybody anyway, but why not tell everybody again? I'll make stuff up if I have to.
Everyone try and repeat Tim, so it's okay.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, so we got some. What is it? What's today? Today's I don't even know anymore. We did 3 shows yesterday. It threw me off. Today's Friday. So Saturday, hopefully we'll throw something up together. Just again, here's why you click the notification bell, because we might pop something up tomorrow. You don't know. You don't know. We might put a show out there. And if you click that notification bell on YouTube after you subscribe to us, you'll know that we got a show on. And then I know Sunday is Easter, so we ain't doing stuff. We're not doing anything. But Monday night, AHTV and friends will be me plus 3 random people that, 3 random friends of mine from around the world. My favorite show, personally, because I get to talk to my friends about West Ham, which is great. And, and then Tuesday we'll be doing something. Wednesday we're doing another interview with somebody. I don't know who. I forgot, but we're doing an interview. And then, stuff like that. So how much time is it? Let's do it. Every time I'm on, it's in my contract. I have to mention Tompkins every time. And you know what would be funny? If we went back to all the episodes I've done and actually said, and actually looked to see how many episodes I didn't mention Tompkins, that would be the good one. Like, I would like to offer a prize to someone who could figure that out.
That'd be rare.
Like
pretty rare.
I think it's between 4 and 6, but who knows? But yeah. Anyway, it has been done. And there's also been a couple times where it wasn't until the very end that someone reminded me in the chat room, hey, I've mentioned Tompkins, mentioned him. So anyway, yeah, love you guys. And Charlie in the chat room, keep your messages open because I'll be asking you to do a show soon. Yeah, most likely Monday. But anyway, stay tuned. And I'll talk to you two off the air. But everybody else, have a great evening, great morning, great wherever you are. And come on, you Irons.
Thanks, guys.